was
Yes.
a whole lot
At the 314 SVG.
to
Yes, please.
digest.
Yes, it was.
Somebody is calling. Get it off your chest on a Wednesday. Good morning.
Greetings, brother Fuji.
Morning.
Very
Reach
happy
back.
and your Crystal are being helped that young lady because when you look at that situation, it didn't add up. 10 times being raped, but when I look at the statistics coming very early in the case, the amount of young girls, but however, it seemed a little far-fetched. However, I hope and pray that you all could help her because if it is that is it's true, it must stop and we must do something to help her. And I hope that you are going to follow this up because a lot of our young meters are now getting this, A lot of our young girls, I could tell you, they come to me, they're having serious problems and with bigger men, older men. So this is an issue that we need to, and maybe we could discuss it one of these days. And what can we do to help our young girls and our young boys from getting raped? But I just want to just say something. I ain't calling anyone no vaccine talk.
Wait. Let me apologize because I did tell you around 8:30 we would have.
No, well, don't worry. I just want to just say something. I'm not really
wait. The thing is, Dr. Thompson should have been joining us, but
Yes, sir.
that we're gonna have to reschedule.
Well,
All
I am
right.
not. Well, no, it's not a vaccine. It's just a protocol.
No, I had to put it out.
No, it's okay. I understand. Let me just say this, right? Is that all I want to happen is that there are people who are not taking the vaccine and the people who are taking the vaccine.
Yes,
But
correct.
what we have coming from Mr. Bennett, that is the new Prime Minister, and he is worried.
New
he
Prime
said-
Minister
Where?
of
The new Prime of Bennett, of Israel. And
Israel.
you know Netanyahu was
Wow,
gone.
would I never
The
guess.
partner Netanyahu was gone,
Right.
I may say, he was a very strong man,
Okay,
very strong
alright.
politician, but he had
So
some
what
baggage.
Mr. Bennett say now?
Well, what Bennett is saying now is that he's saying the effectiveness of the Pfizer vaccine against the Delta variant is weaker than we thought. And
What he
if
say
you-
about
if you-
what
if
he
you
say
look at
about
the-
Sputnik?
If you look, no, well, let me say this: the Pfizer, literally,
say
when you
not
look at all the
Sputnik.
vaccine, the Pfizer is really the strongest, they're 92%. I know the one from Cuba, they said 92%, but they can't prove it. But this one is proven.
Strongest in terms of what?
Strongest in terms of efficacy.
Right.
Remember, we had the Sinovac. They said it was 80-something%, and then eventually, when the Brazilian tear it to pieces, they had to reschedule it to 50.4%. But let me say this: a very strong efficacy of a vaccine is what is significant to fight this novel virus. But what he is now saying is that this virus, this new variant, the Delta, is penetrating. So he went on. So he's saying 2,000 school children got infected. Half of them were fully vaccinated. Both groups are very unlikely to develop severe forms of diseases. He did something that I want to recommend to the Caribbean, St. Vincent. What he recommends is that while we are fighting up how much, because they're the most they take the most vaccine in the world, and over 57-60% now I think they're heading for in terms
Go
of
ahead.
fully
Go
vaccinated.
ahead with the point.
Right, but the point I want to make is that what he recommends is we get back to the basics, Fuji, and that basics is that mask. That you remember the head of the
But Hamilton, you're saying going back to the basics. We
never
left.
stopped.
Well,
we
let me
never
say this
left
to
the
you.
basics.
Let me say this to you. Netanyahu lifted the mask protocols. So many states.
Hamo. What is happening here? What is in place here?
What I'm saying, what I'm saying
Trust
is
me.
that we have a lot of, my wife wear it, I wear it, I think you wear it.
Oh,
Kristen, you
Mr.
wear it, right?
Hamilton, sorry to cut you, but every morning you call and you make the same point.
No, the same point was made because it's wrong
Yes,
point.
yes, but we
okay,
can't.
so-
gosh,
that
man.
mask.
So continue.
We have got to also.
Even though you vaccinate, continue to wear the
Not
mask,
only to wear the mask,
continue
he
to
went further.
sanitize
He
and
said
social.
that anybody is
Okay.
caught without the mask because they're making it mandatory.
Yeah,
When
Mr.
discipline,
Hamilton, but it's every morning is the same
we have
song.
to do it, Fuji.
Yes,
All right,
okay, we
but
get it.
We get
We
the
We're
point.
going to get the variant
Yes,
here.
we got it.
can't
We got
be
it.
chanting.
We're going to get it spread, and we're going to get
We
hurt.
got it. But Hamo. What we're saying. Bennett is saying to go back to that based on whatever Netanyahu
Based on
did.
the-
Hold
the protocol by Mr.
Hold on. I don't even understand why you even using that to make a reference because it was and you're gonna recommend it to the Caribbean and even St. Vincent. It was never stopped here, Hamilton. It was never stopped
90%
here.
of our van men are running wrong with only a mask on the chin.
And they get charged for it. They get charged for it.
Based on the
Yes.
official protocols that are in place, yes, there are some people who are ridiculous with what they're doing. Yes, we understand that. But based on the official protocols that are in place, it has never stopped. Point blank. So we don't need to go back.
This
We
argument
don't
null
need
and
to go
void.
back. We don't need to go back to anything. We just need to encourage those who
Continue wearing the mask.
who basically give up on it and are thinking that we're out of the woods to get back to that place of wearing the mask and social distancing and continuing with the sanitizing and all them things.
You see, I
Point
feel,
blank.
I feel what
Can't
he's
deal
trying
with
to
it, man.
say. What he's trying to say is mask alone should be working. So we forget about the vaccine, we forget about everything else, and just stick to just
Jesus
wearing masks
Christ,
for the
you
rest
know,
of our
come here
lives.
all
But
the way in Israel to go back to
fugitive
something that we never stopped here.
Is you have plenty of patience. It's every single morning. It's the same song, enough.
Jeez, come
Let me go, man. Let me go.
Get it off your chest on a Wednesday
Continue with
morning.
the
Let's
man,
let's
man.
go, please. All right.
UG,
Morning,
with the
morning.
volcano thing, you have one who don't get paid because
Like who?
me have a couple of friends who have one
Call
and
some
they
of them
already get
friends.
paid.
Call some
So
of
Mr.
those
Fitz
friends.
need to check
And that could
the
be the
people
truth.
them for the money.
That could be the
Okay.
truth. That could be the truth. Get some of those friends who have been paid from transporting persons at the on evacuation day, evacuation night. Get them to call, send a voice note or something. All
Okay,
right.
so
Mr. Fritz
so what I
spoke
said
from his
before.
own experience. You speaking from what your friends say. Get one or two of the friends to call and confirm that they have been paid. You will
And
see.
how they got around to getting paid.
Right.
If they were called, or if they had to go and check.
Okay.
Okay.
Get it off your chest on a Wednesday. Good morning.
Yeah, Future and Crystal, wonderful job just a while ago when you spoke to that young lady. I guess that you did the right thing by taking her and talking to her differently until you really get down to the meat of the thing, because she sounds like she really desperate. in
Well,
need of help.
I can say that it is not the first time we have spoken to her. It's not the second or even the third time we have
okay.
spoken to her. So we know what the situation is.
Right. So if you listen what is happening there, I think this needs to go to the authorities better, with the authorities who could really sit down and listen to this lady, because it sounds like
Yeah.
she's been traumatized and it's been hurting her, and she needs to get it off her chest. And I
Right.
like the way that you and Crystal dealt with it, because we don't think we put this out in the public like this as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good day, guys.
All right. Bless up yourself.
Thank you so much.
Get it off your chest on a Wednesday morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning. Welcome.
Thanks, sir. Just in regards of the minibus situation,
Go ahead, my buddy.
yeah, there's too much going on, too much heat in the kitchen. We can't take it no more.
What you plan to do about it?
Well, me alone can't do anything, but I mean, there is a number
Who
of
say-
You
operators
alone
Who
can
say
do
you
it.
alone
Understand
can't
me,
do
brother.
anything?
But we all as operators can get together and do something. And the government needs to get up and do something.
You're an operator.
Yeah.
Well,
So
how,
why you said the other operators can get up and do something?
Why
Isn't
is
it
that?
together.
everybody?
Can you repeat for me?
Why you said the other operators? You alone, the other operators need to get up and do something,
Because
excluding you?
we including me, we all need more togetherness.
Okay then.
how have you been affected by all that is happening?
So, to be honest with you, right, it's like fuel price keep on going on a rise. I mean, as a gasoline van as well, $13.20 a gallon, that's killing us. Parts price keep on fluctuating, tire price going up, police keep on targeting you.
Which route do you operate?
Evisham Kara area.
Evisham Kara
Evesham
area.
Kerr, up the road.
All right. That would afford you how many trips per day?
Well, it all depends, because you got to remember now, the general public is not traveling as often as before.
So
as
people
they would
cutting
like
back
to,
on the
because-
traveling because in fear of being stranded by the roadside and all of that.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
jobs lost, so you don't need to.
As you're aware of it, it's like if you go down like by 5 o'clock, it's like goes down normally with a 4 o'clock until like 7, 8.
Wow.
Now by 6 o'clock, you have to be off the road because no one else to travel.
If there's one thing that you would wish to say to the authorities, what would it be?
They need to free up the gate and be more reasonable, be more flexible, put themselves in our position. Because, I mean, when you look at it, right, in the government sector, the government did not take a cut in his pay or any of his any person within his system. We who are self-employed created our own business. It's been hampered and been affected more than anyone else.
And you had to cut.
They cut us. They cut us. We didn't have to cut. They cut us.
Forcefully, right. Yeah,
Forcefully.
yeah,
without any subsidy, anything.
Wow.
They promised and never delivered. There's a voice note I can send you from the Minister of Finance, which I think I've sent it to Extreme. I like it to play it so that
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they're lined up.
I just pulled it up there.
Yeah, so the nation knows that we're not lying.
Now, well, they know.
I think people remember, man.
We all know.
But could I ask you, were you one of the drivers who evacuated individuals during the volcanic eruption?
No, I didn't.
No? Okay.
Okay. Do you know of anyone who have been paid? Any of the drivers who have been paid? Do you know of any?
Well, we had a small, we have a chat, so we were going through our chat. Some guys claim to say that they got paid, and some didn't get paid. So I don't know as to the extent as to who all didn't get paid.
Probably they're paying by zones, perhaps?
Or probably paying by whosoever called.
I guess not, because I mean, when Sophie was going, Nemo was reaching out to people. We didn't go to Nemo. Nemo started to contact minibus operators even before Sophie blew in the event of evacuation to athletes. And bear with me. When you look at it now, right? When there was evacuation, no protocol has been followed. People travel without masks, right? Nothing whatsoever. No form of protocol.
COVID would have understood it was a case of emergency.
Yeah, it's a case of emergency. I understand that.
COVID would have understood.
But at the same time, right after the Sophie blow, it's like the police came off the road because probably they were being pitiful. Then they start to come back on the road again.
They give you all an ease up for a while.
It's hard, my boy. All right.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
All right. And you're free to call if you're a van driver and you want to express yourself this morning. 4571043 is the number to call. To WhatsApp 4301043. How y'all making it? And for those who moved individual evacuees during the volcanic eruption, have you been paid? And what was the process? All right. Let's get some more responses.
Good morning, guys, especially Crystal from Up Top Boss. Love you, girl.
Good morning, $1 million.
So like when you at you used to go to them school fair and you had the request segment. The request segment. Love you, girl. Get it up your chest on a Wednesday morning.
Beauty, quick question for you and Crystal.
Morning.
You know the things they're putting up on the road that the government put up, say, for tracking buses, right?
The e-bus system.
Right. They were doing that with the expectation they were supposed to be bringing in some buses. But is this a strategy for the van drivers now to take this thing that they have, to bring a charge to them after, as to take more money from the van drivers? This is something I really wanted to ask.
I don't see that.
You don't see it. It might not be looking like if it's going to happen now. But once the van drivers take this, are we going to see where the van drivers now going to pay for that system? Because the government has to pay for it.
Pay for the system?
They
have to pay for it?
The van drivers will have to pay to use it.
I don't see that happening.
Well,
I mean, it's not for everybody, you know. I mean, if you wish to go on the system, then that's totally up to you.
That's just food for thought.
Okay.
All right.
Alright.
One of these mornings, we'll have a real in-depth discussion with that e-bus system there.
Get it up your chest on a Wednesday morning. Let me see. Roycel Davis, happy birthday to Roycel Davis. Hope he enjoys his big day today from your friend Jilly. Alright? Somebody says, on a serious note, Roy Run ain't making nonsense.
Ron ain't making no sense.
No sense. That's it. Well,
Ron ain't making, oh gosh, man, it's a typo. Yeah. Oh God, I'm making do them that.
On a serious note, Roy Run ain't making no sense.
What part of it? I mean, I could
You
say that
think
comment.
they're going to say?
I could say
think
that
they would
comment
say?
if they were talking about the first letter,
No,
but
they-
this one here, I feel it's very to the point.
All they realize is that a group of people led by Roy Run standing up and demanding what was promised to them by the government for the government to deliver. That's all they saw.
Using
and
the
to them,
right channels
And to them, that is nonsense.
Using the right channels.
Yeah, that's all they see.
Perhaps
Somebody
it's nonsense for them
standing
to
up.
ask for what was promised to them.
Somebody standing up and holding the government accountable, and that's all they saw. And to them, that is nonsense. Yeah? That's the mindset where we are right now. The mindset where we are right now. The only thing I have to get off my chest today is a cold.
Good luck.
Better
Go
praise
take
not
some
COVID.
Vicks.
Better praise not COVID. Let me see. Crystal, I think you've been promised a senator job, eh?
What? Hello. Hold on. Me.
Get it off my chest on a Wednesday.
Wait.
But it also says, but remember you're not a shell, so stop. What I mean? What is it you're doing?
I got no idea. Who said that?
I don't know.
Let me see.
Sharwin. We got some voice notes. The lines are still open.
Jokes.
The lines are still open. That voice note, that recording from the Minister of Finance. What time is it? We have a minute?
got
Yeah,
some
let's
time.
squeeze a minute. Let's squeeze a minute. And play.
Madam Speaker, in light of the ongoing restrictions on passenger capacity in public transportation, minibus operators shall receive additional monthly support. A payment to be distributed at the end of March. Omnibuses licensed to carry 20 passengers and below shall receive a $500 payment, and larger omnibuses shall receive $600 payment. As originally conceived, we had said we were going to make 2 monthly payments to the omnibuses, but the Omnibus Association, at least the group that speaks for them, has countered with a request to keep more passengers in the van, apparently as opposed to a second monthly payment. So we will pay
from 8 to 12.
payment at the end of March to deal with the limited capacity that took place in the previous month, and we will engage further on whether or not there'll be an increased capacity or a second monthly payment to offset any further reductions therefrom.
Okay, so at least they got the increase from 8 to 12, right?
But was that enough to offset the
at
losses?
Well, perhaps not. But at that time, they were suggesting 2 monthly payments of $500 based on how much you're licensed to carry, right? And they decided, you know what? Just 1 month, and let us increase from the 8 to the 12. They were allowed to increase from the 8 to the 12.
So that
but
single
they haven't
payment has not been paid.
No, not as yet. All right. Good morning. Get it off your chest on a Wednesday.
Boy, get this off my chest.
Get it up. Well, watch you.
Even on vacation, man.
Watch you. Don't smile up with him. Don't smile up with him.
Call the radio station these days.
Don't smile too. Don't smile with him.
Too much, what do you call that now?
You're afraid to call the radio station these days?
Dave, you come in.
it's a
You
lie.
come in like one of them fellas who would just disappear and the woman and then show up with it too long empty and then smiling.
Go
and
and
then
meet your
flash
other
some money.
family.
And then come up with some lame excuse.
Come back and meet me.
And expecting intercourse.
Giving up on this Crystal, man.
And expecting. I tell you, don't smile with him, Crystal.
You see me smiling with them?
What's up, Dave? What's up?
Stimulated me is, did she get a promise of getting a senatorial job?
Who? That make you call.
He said that stimulated him.
Well, what's your time in this place?
I
Oh.
had this question to
Somebody
ask.
throw out a joke, man. Somebody throw out a joke. It's absolutely false. It was just a joke, man.
Seriously speaking, you know, when I listen to you speak on the radio and, you know, very, very hot and spicy on the radio and so on, talking about the different issues, giving your own responses and all of that. I said to myself, what impact do you think, especially after the disgraceful behavior, and I make no apologies for saying that, of Ashel Morgan? I don't know if you know her. I don't know how much
Can you say this,
older
Crystal, if
she
you
is than
weren't
you.
there?
But I'm wondering if I just want to pull you out as to what you think of her behavior in public office. And if you, as a young woman, ambitious and all of that, can take away anything positive from her behavior. And if you were to be in a position like that, you know, if you were to be in a position like that, what would you have done getting yourself into that kind of mess?
What do you think was the
first
best thing
and
for
foremost-
a young woman as an MP to have done?
First and
I'll
foremost,
just leave that
it is.
question with you.
You're
And-
dropping and running?
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, I want to hold
Thank
on
you.
to
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
you don't want me
Thank
to
you, Dave.
answer? Because I was going
I
to
love
answer.
you, and
Pon-
that's all.
pon-
I got to
on it.
answer when I come off here.
Ponder on it. Ponder on it.
You want me to ponder on
Because
it?
I really
First of
can't.
all,
I really
no,
can't
but
deal
no,
with
no,
it.
no. Come on. First of all,
Go ahead.
you're saying a disgraceful behavior, but it's an allegation. So could you really call it such? That's all. There we go.
That's all you wanted to say?
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And you think I'm going on and on and on forever, amen? Nah, man. We're talking about
Good
something
morning.
else.
Good morning. I doubt the majority of van drivers are following the rules. Is the head of the Minibus Association, well, Vintus, out there making sure that drivers are following the protocols?
So you're supposed to run
They
behind them?
they got the first set of money with no problem. That's last year money. I sure they would get their money. These guys have bigger and more important things on their hands right now. These same unruly van drivers that people complain about every day. And they're not changing based on the complaints that are made. Farmers, really? Farmers with farmers ID that are not farmers, well, persons with farmers ID that are not farmers and collecting money. Let me see, farmers with farmers ID that are not farmers. There are farmers with IDs who collected money, yes. There are farmers who don't have ID, didn't collect money. There are persons who are not farmers who collected money. There are van drivers who did not follow the protocols and still collect money when they get the first time. So everyone playing the system.
Because I was like, where are you going with this farmer rationale or a reference? Like, where are you
Everybody
going
playing
with
the
this?
system.
So, okay, because everybody playing the system, it's all well and good. So let's continue with it and be fine with it.
Everybody playing the system.
And
We need to come up
And
with a
then what?
strategy.
And then what? You know, here's a suggestion I heard somebody talk about at one of the bus stops this week for van drivers, because I don't see any way around. You cannot ask them to change the protocols, really and truly. We take the call? Hello. All right.
Get it off your chest on a Wednesday.
Fuji,
Morning.
good morning. How are you?
Morning.
Good
not too
morning.
bad.
It sounds like
And
Roy
you,
Ron.
and you.
Good morning.
Wow, you're that good.
Yeah.
Well, I work in customer service, and one of the first things they tell you is to know your customer.
You have to know your customers. What's good, my buddy?
Well, I thank God for life. I mean, that's important. You know, our country has gone through a lot over the last few months, and you know, I think it's important that we lift up our eyes to the hills where our strength come from. You know, every time I sit back and I listen to commentary on minibus operators in our sector, whenever there is an advocacy for government to make good their promises or to take actions in the best interest of our operators and the citizens as a whole, it seems as if the go-to default for citizens is to look towards all of the negative aspects of our industry. And I have to say that minibus operators are a subset of our society, just like police and nurses, just like teachers. I am certain that recently when we hear about police officers involved in hormones and all of the different types
You dropped out a little bit there.
Sorry, I was saying that I am certain when we hear about police officers being involved in incidences of, you know, breaking the laws, etc., we still respect the
Police officers.
the police officers for what they do, for the protection that they give to us, etc. Minibus operators ain't no different. In fact, I mean, where would we be without an industry? Where would we be without public transportation? Where would we be without many of our operators getting up off their bed early in the morning to do what they enjoy doing? Yes, it is not a perfect industry. Just like life, it is not a perfect
thing that we have called life. But we must appreciate that when policymakers make commitments, that they should deliver on the commitment.
Of course.
If I were to backtrack a bit, when we were asking for an increase in capacity to 12, the counter that the policymakers made was that if you want 12, you must be vaccinated. Anybody remember that?
That was part of it.
They say you must be vaccinated to carry 12 passengers. And we said no. Why should we be vaccinated to carry 12 passengers? Where all around the region the standard is wear your mask and you can carry a capacity that is near 75%. Here in St. Lucia, it is literally full capacity by just wearing your mask. Now, I believe that by now, every single person in St. Vincent understands what is necessary to protect yourself from the virus. Everybody understands the importance of sanitizing yourself, wearing your mask. Why should we continue to penalize a sector that thrives only on the movement of people? Minibus operators are not out here trying to continue to ask government for subsidy. That's not what we want. We don't want to depend on the public coffers to support our operation. That's not what we want.
What do
What
you
we
want?
want is an opportunity, just like the shops, the supermarket, the other business places, the opportunity that people can put on their mask and board the transportation while being sanitized. Is that such a difficult ask?
But what isn't I mean, you're saying that is what you want, but I mean, what is it where that is concerned that you're not getting?
They want
Well,
full
let's talk
capacity
about-
with the protocol.
Well, I mean, I'm
the
thinking
mask
that you
wearing.
would
No.
still have to understand in terms of the protocols when it comes to social distancing.
Well, social distancing is something that perhaps we shouldn't try to have a conversation on at this moment. To be quite honest
I
with you.
understand. And I understand.
It ain't gonna happen in a minibus.
Right.
The space, it ain't gonna happen. So we don't
Correct.
have that conversation.
Correct. Right.
We have always said that for the 18 seaters, a 12 capacity gives us a reasonable opportunity to make a decent living. We've always said that. Yeah? And the same equivalent of passengers for the larger buses and for the 14 seaters in terms of percentage would allow operators to make a decent living during this pandemic. We've always said that. What the government have said, and there's no ambiguity in the approach to their response to our request for that type of capacity. What they want and what they have advised is that you can get 12, but your drivers and conductors must be vaccinated. But I don't see those same policies being implemented in other business places.
Do other
that are
business
crowded all-
places?
that-
Do
that-
other
that are
business
crowded all the
places
time?
have to meet? Well, you just said it there. I was going to ask you if they have to meet the same amount of people on a day-to-day basis.
Of course.
I mean, you have to
Yeah.
understand that there are certain sectors where it becomes sort of necessary. Tourism, public transport, you're dealing with a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. So you understand as well if there's just one person
Just-
within that group.
And a supermarket does the same thing, yeah?
So
Is there
we should make it mandatory, or we should ask that all supermarket workers be vaccinated.
Well, I'm asking a question here. You're saying that we deal with a number of people every day. And yes, we move volume. We move St. Vincent. My question is there any such requirement for supermarkets who see hundreds and thousands of people every single day?
But could it be because it is much easier to social distance in a supermarket than it is, like you rightfully said a while ago, than it is to do in a minibus?
Well, theories and practical is always something that, we could discuss. Theoretically, it sounds good. But who is stopping anybody at the door of a supermarket
Right,
from going in and say, that's enough persons inside it. Anybody stopping them?
Not at the moment. It's not being done. Just sanitizing and
The
you wear your
security
mask
guard.
and that's about it.
Catalan
Okay,
says your
my-
full supermarket.
My point exactly. So, well, Daniel, I wasn't responding to you there. Sorry,
Crystal.
I wasn't, I wasn't responding
Change
to you
the
there when you
station.
said you can't tell when last you see a full supermarket. I was responding to Fuji when he talk about there's nobody controlling the capacity in these places.
Okay.
Now, I am saying here, you just played the recording. That is not we say that, That is the Minister of Finance went into the House of Parliament and said, look, we are going to pay the guys them $500 for the month of February, and we're going to make that payment in March.
Right.
And
nothing up to
we're
today.
going to have a discussion about giving them back the 12 capacity in lieu of the second payment.
But did
But that
this
has-
no
But that hasn't happened.
but has there been any sort of correspondence from since that time to now? To know, well, at least find out what is happening, what is the situation, why is there a delay in the payment?
No, there has been no correspondence since that time. And to be honest with you, after that, we had the volcanic eruption, and we know how that went. So, priority shifted. And even in all our hurt and pain, even in all of our disgruntledness and our dissatisfaction with the way we were being handled and treated by policymakers, when I was contacted to mobilize our members, I say, yeah, country first. I recognize the hurt that we are feeling, but I'm going to reach out to my members and motivate them to be part of the process. And many of them participated even reluctantly.
But what is this situation where they have not been compensated from those activities on the evacuation night?
Well, many of them have still not yet received compensation.
Oh, so
And
it's a situation where some have been paid, but the majority have not yet been paid.
Well, I have been hearing, and I just heard from your station as well, that there have been some operators who receive payments. Now, what is
Like you're not in a WhatsApp group, man.
What is bothering me on that is that you reached out to me for help, but now you're making payments in a sporadic way. When you could have reached out to me and say, Roy, well, this is how we are going to disseminate the payment. This is what your members need to do. Those who participated.
Right.
Ask them to visit X, bring Y, and that is how we're going to process the payment.
Right. I get you. Structure.
Have you reached out to them to ask what's going on with the payment?
Well, we've just penned a letter to them that I believe would have been received yesterday via email. And I am, as usual, I think it would take some time for me to get a response. So we'll wait and see what happens this week.
How much time you hoping to wait? How much time are you given?
Well, I have always been a reasonable guy. I'm probably too reasonable to my own detriment because, some operators would say, well, and I hear you saying someone saying that, Royan is just nonsense. But I'm not an unreasonable guy. So when I send a letter understanding the machinery of government, I provide them a reasonable time to respond. And I don't think that a week is an unreasonable time.
All right. So next week we'll hear. You'll give us an update on what's happening with that.
If there's no response by next week, probably even the following week, what happens then?
Well, it's always a question
Continue
that
to wait?
It's always a question that requires the consultation of operators. And I think now that we've sent the correspondence to the government, we'll await and we will continue to discuss what our options are.
Okay.
Could I ask you one final question before you go, Roy Ron? How long have you known that some of the drivers were not paid for the evacuation efforts?
Well, we've known that from the time things begin to calm from the whole response effort with respect to meeting the needs of the dislocated and all of the emergency responses surrounding the volcanic eruption. I think that still remains and was a priority then. So trying to advocate for payment immediately after that, I think would have been an unreasonable thing. Yeah? So we provided sufficient time for us to be in the conversation. And again, even coming out of that, I heard so many announcements about supporting different people and different aspects of our vulnerables and so forth. And no announcement with respect to compensating minibus and supporting minibus. We had many operators who operated in the red zone that went weeks without anywhere to operate and earn a living. Yeah? We didn't hear anything about those guys.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about holding government accountable for the commitment they made to us, it is not something that we are just waking up this morning and doing. And I think that's what we would like the general public to understand. There was a commitment made, and I think that government is duty bound to honor those commitments to us.
All right.
I mean, there are obviously some other issues that we think we need that we think the government needs to revisit as well. Obviously, this constant testing of operators, I think, is something that they definitely need to revisit as well. I just don't think that policy of constantly testing operators.
But you see that there, like you said earlier, is an argument that would take a lot of time because, okay, earlier you made reference to what is being done in the with teachers and with public servants and so on, and that is also in place where it's either you vaccinate or you're gonna have to be tested every 2 weeks, right? So that is another sector where that would be implemented. So
yeah, you're right. This requires another another lengthy discussion.
Yeah.
There are good solid arguments on both sides of it, and I think sometimes the whole issue of the fear of the virus dominates the consideration. But for me, I think practicality is what we need to address. I mean, take for example, Fuji, you are fully vaccinated, you land in St. Vincent with a negative test, but yet you want to quarantine for 48 hours. To me, that is a counterproductive policy. You can't tell me you believe in the science of vaccination. I arrive with a negative test. When I arrive, you want to test me again and still quarantine me for 48 hours. I want to leave you with that.
I get you. All right then.
All right.
Thank you very much for the time and sharing and updating us. Keep us posted though.
Sure, man.
All right then. Good. We're going to take a break and we're going to come right back. Pressure mounting, tension is brewing among the omnibuses, operators, that entire community, that sector. Right about now, demanding that the government holds to the promises that were made to them some 4 months ago. That's all. All right? That's all. Get a free 10 in Samsung Galaxy Tab A7 when you sign up for a new Turbo 50 broadband package with Flow. Enjoy hassle-free browsing, online gaming, and streaming with up to 50 gigabytes per second download speed. Plus, be entered into the Flow Easy Summer Vibes promotion where you can be one of our weekly winners of $500 cash shopping vouchers, wireless Samsung devices, and more. It's just in store to sign up today. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, keeping you connected. Keep it locked inside. We'll be back after these messages inside the wake-up call on a Wednesday morning. Get it off your chest on a Wednesday.
Pastor not practicing what he preaches?